Hello, my name is Denise Walsh and welcome back to my channel. Today, I have a very unexpected question that you can ask yourself whenever you are making a decision. I know for me, when I'm making a decision, one thing that I learned in grade school to do was to weigh my pros and cons, right? Whether it's what job to take, where to live, what school to send my kids to, maybe it's a small daily choice of whether to work out or drink water, or maybe it's a big life choice where you're pivoting and trying to navigate through. But this question is something you might not be thinking about, yet I think trumps the pros and cons list. So before I get started, if you have not yet, please hit that subscription button and that little notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. Okay, so what is this question? I'm sure you know what a pros and cons list, right? You have a situation in front of you. You're trying to make a decision. Should I start a business? Should I move? Should I take this job? Should I look for jobs? Should I do this hobby? Do I have time for this? All of the things. And you do a simple pros and cons list. And the pros and the cons, you weigh them out and you see which one wins. But this question might trump all of that. And here's what it is. What's the worst that can happen? So you ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? And then follow that trail. So what's the worst that can happen? Well, I don't like where I live. Well, what happens if I don't like where I live? Well, then I can move home, or I can get a new job, or I can find something else. Like the worst that can happen, like keep asking yourself that. And what you'll typically find is that the worst thing that can happen is typically not that bad. You know what I mean? Usually you're not in a life or death situation, even though emotionally we can feel like, there's a right or wrong. I've learned it's like a 4-lane highway, right? And when you ask yourself what's the worst that can happen, it's usually not that bad. So one situation was when we were quitting our full-time jobs to jump full in our business. We thought, well, the worst thing that could happen is we have to go get another job. Okay. We might not want to, but will we die? Is that we could handle that. We could do that. The worst thing that could happen if you move is you move home. I think that sometimes we put big emotions on something that at the end of the day is really just about life's adventure. So ask yourself, if I take this step, what's the worst that can happen? And maybe that will help you gain the confidence to take that next right step. I hope that this was helpful. And if you want more of this type of information, then check out my podcast called Dreamcast on all major podcast players, as well as download the Dream Life Design Map. All the information is in the show notes below. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.